I'm now 31 years old. For my Spanish speakers, I have 31 years. I've reached that age where you notice the durability and energy that you have in your youth might not last forever. So I'm rolling more, stretching more, sleeping more. And today I'm going to learn what a lot of lifters are doing these days: body tempering. How might this be different from foam rolling?
When you foam roll and you're foam rolling your hamstrings, wouldn't it be nice if it went deeper? It almost feels like when you foam roll your hamstrings, it's just not deep enough. The difference with tempering is you're always in a relaxed state versus foam rolling when you're propping yourself up and sometimes you're almost engaging like you're in a plank. This is all relaxed. I do the work for you and it slowly diffuses through the muscle instead. It's easiest to equate things to a massage because I think people are more familiar with that. It's its own tool in a toolbox, right? It might be my favorite tool to use with someone who's got issues going on. Old people might be like, my shoulder hurts today, and we can do something real quick and fix it. And sometimes those things might need to be hands-on, but with the tempering tools, it's a little more accelerated. All right, Matt, so tell me about your problem areas today.
Well, every time I squat, knees click. When I do too many squats, left hip goes. When I'm running, that hip goes. When I do a lot of big sets of sit-ups, my abs cramp up, even on toes to bar. My left elbow bothers me a little. My two thumbs don't seem to get along with each other. My wrists are the ones to go first. I can tell when I foam roll that my quads are usually tight. I have mild scoliosis in my back. I've never been able to lick my elbows. I have an allergy to burpees.
So we'll focus on hip dysfunction first, and then we'll kind of branch out from there. So we're gonna start off doing...
What was that?
I'm just gonna introduce the 52 first. It's got a beveled center, so like if we were to I'll come through your back real quick. It's not gonna hit your spine, but it will hit those long muscles down the spine on either side. It usually feels pretty good right here. We can come, we can do a little stretch for the QL, so take a deep breath. You're gonna feel it press into the rib cage and the hip a little bit. Good, and then we'll come up on the hips. And I'm just gonna press down. Okay. Let me know when it's enough pressure. Again, this should feel pretty good too. The one that's gonna hurt is when we get to the quads.
So you don't hold it for long?
No, that was about 30 seconds. And it depends on what we're doing. I just wanted to do that to introduce the weight so you kind of have a feel.
So is that a heavier one or a lighter one?
That's a lighter one. My heaviest one's 110 pounds.
Oh wow.
We're gonna go into a static temper on the hamstrings. Loosen up your hips. We're just gonna let these weights sit on the back of the thighs for about 5 minutes.
So you'll do this before your workout?
Yeah, my preference on this is as its own recovery modality, but today, because we're gonna lift afterwards, we're gonna get into some dynamic tempering following this. And really all static tempering should be followed with a dynamic temper afterwards. So right now we're gonna get some blood occlusion, which means it's just going to restrict some of the blood flow. And then when we take it off, we'll feel a rush of new oxygenated blood. But we'll also, and you can probably attest to this, is the areas in the muscles that are tight is where you're gonna feel the loading, and the muscles that aren't tight and are pliable, you don't really feel it. When we get up, I'll let you do like a couple air squats so you can see the difference.
So how much weight was that again?
That was 185 pounds.
Wow.
And so that was the static temper. Now we're gonna go through dynamic temper, and I'm just gonna bring it up to that top aspect of the hamstring. And we're just gonna kind of like roll back and forth and then like throttle at the head, and we can get a little side to side traction going too. And if you want deeper pressure, you can let me know.
Ooh,
but this should feel pretty good.
Yeah, that feels good.
Good. And so now we'll focus on that outer hip. What I'm gonna do first is we're gonna take the edge of this right above that hip bone and just come right through this tissue.
It hurts more than everything else though.
Yeah. Nah, I knew that was...
Uh-oh.
This is the boomstick. And so now we're gonna come through that tight area of the hip that we were talking about. So again, we're not gonna be on any bone ever. And then as I'm doing this, I'm gonna use like a C to kind of pin it. And we're just gonna give a little bit of pressure. I want like a 7 out of 10. And this is gonna probably be
that's 7. That's 7. 7!
7.
This is probably my most useful because I'm a massage therapist. So this would be more like if you've ever had trigger point work done. You find like a knot and a massage therapist will like knead at it. Well, instead of kneading, what we do is we just allow the muscle yield over time.
I feel, what's the word when you're vulnerable? I feel vulnerable in this position.
So we're just gonna roll, like I said, through here. You let me know if we find a spot that's real tight. We're gonna kind of hang out as we get closer down to the knee.
Feels good.
All right, now I want you to point those toes up straight towards the ceiling.
Toes up.
Yep, good. Again, relax. Good. And it's gonna feel a little different. So we're gonna throttle at the knee because you were talking about your knees earlier.
Yep.
It probably hurts so good.
Yep. So good.
Good. Now I want you to kick those heels out and let your toes come together. And again, it's gonna feel a little different again.
Yep. That feels good. It's when you come back too.
No.
Like you think you got it when you went that way, but then you come back and it's even more.
Good. Now, if you were to pick a side that bothers you more, which side would it be? Probably your left.
Left, yeah.
All right, let's take this right foot off. We're gonna come into that inner thigh, and we're going to just let it rest. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna kind of roll through here. Oh no, I knew this was gonna be a tight spot, that's why.
Usually when you try to get this deep, you'll have to use like a barbell. Right?
Yeah, if you don't have any tempers, you can do it with a barbell. Use the kettlebell.
This feels more realistic than a barbell.
Yeah, because it's denser,
yeah.
right? You don't have the long bar to try to maneuver around.
Barbell can feel like a knife, like
yeah,
cutting your muscle, but
these are
like
nice and thick too.
Pressing,
yeah. All right, now we're gonna switch sides. Go to the other side, and this side might surprise you. Just normally, like the side that people don't expect to be sore feels worse.
Yep.
And that's just because we've gotten used to, the tension in that area. Take a big deep breath and just focus on your breath, let it sink through.
I can see why you like doing this. Putting people through pain.
It's more about the aftermath.
Yeah.
More about the aftermath. All right.
Cool. Awesome. Let me feel my new legs. Nice. What kind of person would want body tempering?
Athletes obviously will definitely, anyone that competes in anything, anyone who's having any sort of joint muscle issues where they haven't seen typical massage or stretching or chiropractic work help, give relief. I've worked with people who haven't been able to squat below parallel, people who've had constant plantar fasciitis and been able to clear it up fairly quickly, sometimes in one session. And then we're just working on prolonging that and being more preventative versus proactive. So anyone who's really trying to take whatever they're doing to the next level, if they have normal pain, help dissipate it.
Would you recommend doing this at home?
I think that the first time anyone does any sort of tempering, it's best to find a body tempering certified practitioner. There's a whole directory, go to bodytempering.com.
Now that my body's feeling fresh,
Ben gave me a little tour of his gym and all his toys.
For like home gym, the most unique thing I have are the adjustable dumbbells that actually feel like dumbbells. But like my absolute favorite piece of equipment that I have is my glute ham developer. I tore my hamstring when I was like 16. And so for me, this has always been a staple in keeping my hamstrings healthy and strong. I train a variety of people, everyday people to higher level CrossFit or weightlifters. And so depending on what we're doing, we could be working on snatch, clean and jerk. We could be getting ready for, I have a guy going into the military, and then we might use my rope climb or the fat bar so we can work on some grip and upper body strength. I have most of my clients come here. Sometimes I'll travel to them. That's the nice thing about having the tempering cart and tools is it's mobile.
All right, well, let's lift.
Ben has a strong background in Olympic weightlifting, so naturally I asked him to watch my lifts for what I can improve.
So what were you saying?
So Matt's been having some wrist issues when we go overhead, and that's because when we're here, the wrist is breaking and the carpals of the wrist can't stay stacked. So we want really a more of a U-shaped position, because even over time, the wrist is going to bend because of weight. But as long as the bar is staying here where we can create a U, then the carpals of the wrist are gonna stay stacked. So if we let the wrist bend, you'll see how that creates some tension here at the elbow. And what we really want is this U position so that the bones of the wrist stay stacked and the muscles stabilize the wrist. And that way, even as we get heavy over time, these bones through here are where they need to be.
Now Ben didn't ask for my advice, but I thought I'd return the favor.
No. You gotta break your bumpers. Watch this. All right, well, thank you, Ben, for teaching us about body tempering and allowing us to break your bumpers. If they want to connect with you, how do they do that?
Just find me on Instagram, Seneca Training Systems.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.